Hello students, come to the third part of the programming, that is arranging the elements in ascending or descending order. So here this concept is also called as a sorting where we are placing our elements, or right now we are dealing with the integers. So here we are arranging integer elements in ascending or descending order. So let us take an example of ascending order. So if consider I have to arrange elements in ascending order, I have to arrange them in increasing order, that the first element should be always less than the second element, and second element should be always less than the third, and so on. This sequence should be followed, or this pattern should be followed up to the last element. So here I am having this 10 elements which are in random order. These are not specific whether in ascending or descending. So this is a random list of the elements, and I have to arrange these elements into in ascending order, that is in increasing order. So here there are many sorting techniques are available: bubble sort, insert sort, selection sort, quick merge, etc. Again heap sort, etc. So for this particular video I am using bubble sort technique. So let us understand how the bubble sort sorts the elements. So here whenever we are dealing with the bubble sort, in the first there are multiple passes. If I am having n elements, there are n minus 1 passes are there, and into n minus 1 passes I always have n minus 1 comparisons. So let us understand how the bubble sort works. So in case of bubble sort, if I am dealing with the ith element, so this I can be 0 to any up to the second last element, and the very first element or this element is getting compared with the very next element. So this, it means we are comparing either these two elements, or we are either comparing these two elements, any sequential two elements we are comparing, this two or this two, or up to the last these two. So if we are comparing consecutive two elements, then we are checking whether the previous element is always less than the second element or very next element. If in case of ascending, in case of descending, exactly reverse condition is checked. Right now let us focus on only on to the ascending. In case of ascending, my first element should be always less than the next element. So if this condition is getting followed, that ith element should be always less than the I plus 1th element, then I can say that these elements are in order and no swapping of elements is required. Swapping, exchanging the locations of respective elements. But if this condition is not satisfied, that ith element is greater than the I plus 1th element, so here we are not following the required order, that in ascending order. So here in that case swapping is required. Swapping, where ith element will be placed at the I plus 1th location, and I plus 1th element will be placed at the ith location. For example, let us take these two examples, 88 and 67. Here I cannot see the first element is less than the second element. Here second element is less than the first element. Then swapping between these two is required. So here at this position we need to perform the swapping, and so on. So in this way, when we compare consecutive two elements, in the first pass the highest element or the largest element will be bubbled out. That's why the name of the sorting technique is a bubble sort. So let us see the explanation regarding this. So here in case of programming higher level programming languages, we are storing, there are multiple ways. For example, we are storing these elements into array. Then in order to compare, we are using some index variable I pointing to the first element, and second variable will be accessed by using I plus 1 index. So the same scenario I have given here. So 0, 1, 2, these are the indices of these elements, and here I stands for the current element and I plus 1 stands for the second element. So comparison between these two contiguous memory locations is required. Contiguous two elements is required. If they are in order, we are not performing any swapping, and if they are not in order, we are performing swapping. So let us take I stands for the first element pointing, 10 is less than 21, so no swapping is required. Then we will move to the second combination, or to the next combination, or to the next comparison. This will be I and this will be I plus 1. Again here also we can see this condition is followed, or this condition satisfied. So move to the next. Again condition satisfied. Now again increment I here at this position. At this position this condition is not satisfied, so it means we need a exchange between these two elements. So in order to perform exchange or swapping, we can use any random variable. For example, let us take a variable I am using. So a, let us take right now the array name is source. So source of I will move to the a, and source of I will get the very I plus 1 contents, and then at source of I can pass the a element. So in this way, so let us take particular example this. So a will have 67 at this point. Now source I will have, sorry, here a will have the value, this is my source I and this is my source I plus 1. So here source I we are passing here, this will become 88. This source I plus 1 will get the value 67, and whatever value copied here into so a, this that again will be copied here. It means source of I will get 67. Wait. I am getting wrong somewhere. Plus 1, yes, here I am getting wrong. No. Source of I will get 67, this will get 88. Here plus 1 is required, right? Here we will get 88 passed to the next location. It means here we have performed some exchange, and because of which 67 will be copied here and 88 will be copied here, and the I and j will remain at the same location, I and I plus 1. Now the swapping is done, so we will move to the next memory locations. Here 88 will be there. After the swapping, 88. Now again I and I plus 1, again swapping is required, so the same code we can follow. So 57 copy here, and 88 done. Again move I and I plus 1 to the next memory locations, increment I, not in order, again exchange is required. Similarly, exchange between these two, when 88 will come here, again exchange between these two will be required. Again 88 will come here, 88 will come here, 88 and 23, again the swapping will be done. So in order to reduce the further copy and paste, I will directly move to the only single step ahead. So at this point my I and I plus 1 will be there. So this will be the max location of my I, that 8. 8 will be the max location of my I, and I plus 1 I will point to the very last location of my array element. Here 88 is smaller than 90 yet, so that's why there is no swapping is required. So here we can see that after the first pass I am getting the very largest element at the last of my array. So even though right now in the current combination this is the very last element, even though if instead of 90 this would have been 81 etc., again the swapping between 88 and 81 might have taken place, and 88 would have been the last element. But right now let us keep the same source elements 90H as this is the last element, so no swapping will be required, and this will be the last element placed at its own position. So this we can say that this is my first pass within which a largest element will be get placed at its last location. So similarly again we will start with the second pass. In the second pass the second largest element will get placed into the third pass, third largest, fourth largest. In this way total n minus 1 passes are required at the max, and in each pass we need to perform comparisons up to the n minus 1. So n minus 1 just because we are having the last element as n minus 1. So here I will pointing to the n minus 2. So I max can go up to n minus 2, and last location will be accessed by this I plus 1. So we are going to write code for the same. So let us write the code for this. I will remove those lines. So this elements we can declare by using data segment. So let us write the program for this. So I will pass yes as my file name. So here we need to declare the elements. Let us take we are using the same set of elements for each time. We cannot go on passing the elements with each case. So here I will declare this as a source of type define byte, and consider I wanted to declare elements like 11H. No, we cannot go with this sequence. Let us take the same source elements. H, 21H, elements we have taken. Now after the declaration of the elements we will quit our data segment. Now we will be using a extra segment. So here here we cannot see the contents of sorted elements, so we will perform a block transfer by using string instruction to check whether actually the block has been sorted or not. So I will use a destination of size, let us take 10 0AH, and I will use dupe function in order to duplicate the element, and declaration that destination is my block, not a single element. Sorry, extra ends. Now start with the code segment. Assumption of all the segments. Start with the code implementation. First load your data segment. Now here the question comes how we can read the content. So already we know we are using in case of block transfer we have seen how to make any block access the block by using index variable. So I will use si as index to pointing to the starting location or start of the block, and yes I plus 1 will be my second addresses. So here I need to initialize with the counter. So use yes I variable. So we can use this instruction, or we can use lea si comma source. So we can either use this instruction or we can use this instruction also to make si pointing to the start of my source block. Load effective address or load the offset of source, both are same thing. Now si first index and s of I plus 1 will be my second index. Now let us initialize the counter. Move cx as my I reaches to the very last elements, not to the very last element, 10th element, only up to the second last element it reaches. So we will initialize the counter very one less than the given size. There are 10 elements, initialize the counter to the 9 only. Or let us take bx as counter here, because we need two counters, one pointing to the given array and one pointing to the number of the passes. So bx will be my number of passes and cx we will use in order to traverse the block elements or 10 elements. So done, si will be pointing to the source and this will be my counter. Now let us start with the first comparison. So I need to read both consecutive elements into any of the register. So move ah source, reading the first element and reading the second element into ai. Ah and al, these two registers I am using in order to read the first element for the comparison, and this will be my second element for the comparison. Second element, and here use the first element. Now here how we can perform the comparison. In case of 8086 we are having a specific instruction cmp which takes two variables of same size. So I will compare al and we will use ah and al. So in case of comparison, always this comparison is done by subtracting the first element, subtracting second element from the first. So this subtraction raises three possibilities. First possibility that ah is less than al. Second possibility ah is greater than al. And third possibility both are equal. So how we can check these conditions? So if al and if ah is less than the al, the subtraction will result into positive, any non-zero result. If subtraction or second condition is there that here after the subtraction we will get a negative result. If let us take ah is 9 and al is 12, then ah 9 minus 12 will give me negative result. If 9 is less than 12, I will get a negative result. And if ah is greater than al, I will get some positive result. Let us continue the previous video. If first element is less than the second element, this subtraction will result into some negative value. If the first element is greater than the second element, we will get some positive non-zero result. Here the result will be non-zero. In this case also we will get some non-zero result, and in case of this we will get some result like this, that we will get a 0. So how we can check any arithmetic operation has resulted into this condition? So here in case of subtraction, whenever a first element is less than the second element, always it takes a borrow for the subtraction. So here we can check the presence of borrow flag, or we can check the presence of this carry flag with respect to the flags. So this is a carry. In case of positive, if there is neither of the flag is there, then we can make the conclusion that there is no any problem regarding this. no problem regarding the subtraction, and AH is greater than the AL. And here in this case, this makes our condition true as a second, that this condition is getting true, the first element is greater than the second element. In this case, swapping is required. So here let us assume this condition, that the first element is greater than less than the second element. So this will be specified by the borrow. If we are dealing or we get this condition, that the first element is greater than the second element, we get a non-zero result and neither of the flags will get set, and in this case swapping is required. And here in case of this, if both are equal, then it doesn't make swapping any difference. So in this case also I don't need any swapping, so we are not going for the swapping. So only in this condition only we need to check the swapping. If this condition get arised, we are not performing any swapping. So how we can check whether presence of borrow or carry? We can check this condition by using JC condition. JC stands for the jump if carry. Jump if carry is there, we are skipping, or there is no swapping required. Else we will go for the swapping. If there is no presence of carry flag, it means the first element is greater than the second element, then we should go for the swapping. And if we are not performed or there is a generation of carry flag, it means in that case swapping is not required. The same conditions we are checking, or the same logic we are applying in order to write the program. So let us perform this implementation in case of TASM. So loading of the first element is done, loading of the second element is done. Let us compare these two elements. Compare, the first element is in AH and the second element is in AL. So let us write the swapping code. Swapping between the elements of this. So I will move the second element which is available into AL to the SI, and first element which is available in AH will move to the second location. So this will be my swapping code, and this we have to skip if there is a carry. So JC down, this label I will use. So down, we are using this label in order to jump after the swapping. So if carry generated, this swapping statements will be skipped and we can directly move to the comparison of the next element. So here we can increment our SI. Done. Incrementing of SI will be done here. Here counter initialization is remaining. That we have to perform these comparisons to the 9 elements, as 10th element will be covered by SI, and we can perform this loop of yes. Here SI is incremented, so directly we can write our up here. The first up declaration that we are starting with the comparison. Now second element will be here, second plus 1, third element will be here. Comparison, if carry generated, no swapping. If not generated, swapping will be there. And again loop up will decrement the counter by 1 and will start with the next comparison. So this is how we can perform the first pass. So this first pass will get completed up to the time when my CX becomes 0. As soon as my CX becomes 0, my first pass is over, and after the first pass, the largest element will be get placed at its location, that is the last location, and we have to start again from our first comparison. That in the second pass we should start. So this we can do by using one more loop, that here we are decrementing dx, indicate that these are the number of the passes, and hence if not 0 of 1, this second label we will add. second label. So here we can use this up 1, that these are the sequence of the statement. So we need not to initialize dx here. We will take this as up because for the each pass I need an initialization of this segment. So here we will initialize our number of passes. This will be my pass counter and this will be my index counter, or let us take index variable. Now done passes and comparison with each. So here we wanted to check whether our elements are getting sorted properly or not. So here again we will load LEASI with the source address, LEADI with the destination address, and declare a counter 0AH. Here we need to pass a block. So we will use this move SD, stands for the repeat move string byte. This will repeat until my counter becomes 0. So move, write down the splitting code 4C00H, then 21H. Done. 5C compare. We need to close the data segment. Here also I made the same mistake. Start with the F7. So here we are having number of passes. So in order to skip each comparison and each thing, we can press F8. F8 will perform single execution into a single step. So here each pass will be covered into a single loop, that 9 comparisons within the block elements will be skipped here. So we go on pressing these elements until we get something changes into the extra segment, unless and until we move to the string instruction. Yes, we have moved to the string instruction. So here we can see our elements 10, 21, 23, 34, 44. There are 10 elements which we have sorted, 56, 67, 78, 88 and 90. So these are the 10 elements which have moved to the extra segment, and these are into the sorted order. So here we can say that our sorting implementation has been done clearly, and then we have transferred this sorted elements to the extra segment. So this is how we can perform the sorting. So I hope you are clear with this video and sorting program. So if you are having queries, you can pass it through comment or you can communicate with me. So practice this program. This much is much more easier as compared to the previous explanations. So thank you for listening to this video.